This is the Planning Commission Acting Chair, Marco Lizarraga. I would like to make clear for the record of this meeting, and it should be reflected in the minutes, that this Planning Commission meeting of November 18th, 2021 will be conducted pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E. Cindy, would you take over for me, please?
Yes, I'd like to read the information regarding how this meeting will be run. So I will read some text on this. So the meeting will be held via teleconference, and Planning Commission members will participate via teleconference. Those locations are not listed on the agenda and are not accessible to the public. The public is encouraged to listen to the Planning Commission meeting live on the Woodland TV channel 20, and also by going to the City of Woodland website at www.cityofwoodland.org/meetings. If you wish to make a comment during the general public comment or in a specific agenda item, there are 3 ways to do that. First, members of the public are invited to leave a voice message at 530-661-5900. All voice messages received by 6:30 p.m. today will be played during the Planning Commission meeting as part of the record at the appropriate time. And that number is 530-661-5900. Second, any member of the public watching the live stream who wishes to make a comment on an item that, as it is being heard, may submit an email to the following email address prior to the public comment on an item. And that email address is Planning Commission Meetings, all one word, Planning Commission Meetings at cityofwoodland.org. If you email, please include the agenda item in the subject line. Third, if you participate via Zoom, you will find a link to the Zoom webinar meeting in the Planning Commission agenda that's posted online. And that's posted under, when you go on the city's website, you'll see at the bottom left, there is a link for meetings and agendas. And if you click on that, it takes you to a main page, and you can choose the Planning Commission meeting of November 18th. And the agenda will open up and you will find the information on that agenda. The webinar ID is listed on the web page, as well as the webinar ID. The webinar ID is 921-7009-5836. Or you may access Zoom via phone by dialing 669-900-6833 and then putting in the webinar ID, which again is 921-7009-5836. And just a note that general public comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes. Thank you.
Let me unmute myself first. Okay. So, Commission Secretary Cindy, I think that it's now appropriate for you to conduct the roll call.
Yes, I'd be happy to do that. Commissioner Harris.
Good evening.
Commissioner Hurst.
Present.
Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Okay. And Commissioner Lizarraga.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. We have 4 members present.
4 members present. Okay.
And I mentioned earlier that Commissioner Holt indicated ahead of time that he was not going to be able to make it.
Okay, now I'm going to proceed, and I'm going to ask or request that each member of the commission respond to the following questions. Commissioner Harris, can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hurst, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith, can you hear me well?
Yes.
And I can hear myself very well too. Does each member of the commission have a copy of the agenda for this meeting? Commissioner Hurst.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
And so do I. Cindy, did you post an agenda at a location reasonably accessible to the public?
Yes, we did.
Okay, the record should reflect that 4 commission members are present for this teleconference and have indicated that they were able to hear the proceedings. At this time, I am requesting that each city officials introduce themselves and their positions so that the record can reflect their attendance.
Cindy Norris, Principal Planner.
Megan Meyer, Associate Planner.
And Jay Kimura is behind the scenes.
Yes, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Kimura, who is the Information Technology Division, and will be assisting in managing the Zoom meeting and public comment portion of the meeting. Now, as we go through the agenda, I would request that before speaking, you clearly identify yourself each time and wait to be recognized before you speak. Second, let the individual speak, and please do not interrupt. I would also ask that, to the greatest extent possible, everyone mute his or her phones or devices when not actively speaking so that we do not get unnecessary background noise. I would now like to advise all commission members and the commission secretary that any votes taken during this teleconference portion of this meeting must be taken by roll call. I'm going to start by asking Mr. Harris to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Let's proceed now with, do we have any members of the commission or staff that wishes to make a statement or request? Commissioner Harris.
No.
Commissioner Hurst.
Nope.
Commissioner Smith.
None at this time.
Okay. Neither do I. Staff, do we have any comments from staff?
Actually, I do I would like to provide some background information on a couple of things, just to give you a little of an update. We've heard some questions about what's happening with a couple of projects, and so I just thought I'd give some updates. If you remember, over a year ago, the commission approved, and the council actually approved, commission didn't, council approved the Woodland storage project at 1434 East Main Street, which is just east of Matmore. That project, and also approved adjacent to the site was a hotel called the Staybridge Hotel, just to the west of the project site. And so those applicants are gearing up to do some of their infrastructure improvements. That whole area, little segment there actually needs to have, in particular, sewer installed. And the applicant for the Staybridge Hotel is gearing up to do that. With regard to the storage project, we're not sure what's happening on that site. They have indicated to staff just informally that they don't think that they're going to move forward with the storage project as was approved, but we don't know. They have indicated the possibility that they might come in with something else, whether it's a commercial and or residential. So anyway, that's just sort of an update there. I would also like to let the commission members know kind of what happened or what's going on with the Cannabis Ordinance, since that was reviewed at your last meeting. And that was taken to City Council Tuesday night. So after significant discussion, the City Council, I think, just felt uncomfortable with the recommendations that were being moved forward, and have asked staff to go back and reassess and come back through another process to look at the potential locations for, but possibly for the commercial retail cannabis. and as well as some other things. So just we'll keep you informed. Staff is kind of circling back to determine what and how to respond to the process, and what process we'll use to go forward to reevaluate the cannabis uses. So I think that's it. Well, I do want to indicate to the commission, and I may have brought this up during long-range calendar discussions in the past, but in the near future, the commission is likely to see a couple of annexation projects that are underway. There is one that's occurring potentially up in the northeast area of the city that will incorporate primarily industrial land. That is an applicant-driven project. There is another application that is moving forward, and it will come before the commission, and that is actually was initiated in part by the city, and it is an intent to annex lands that either are city occupied, city owned, affiliated with the city, as well as a combination of some private entities, primarily up in the northwest part of town. So, and then there is a third annexation project that is very, very early stages, that is potentially a consideration for annexation of the land south of the Gateway Center. We are just in early stages of working with that applicant, doing some early analysis and assessing uses. So any of these application procedures can take a fairly lengthy amount of time to go through a review process. And then once they come through the city's review, it also has to go to LAFCO for final approval. So anyway, those, you may see some of those early next year coming forward, the first two anyway. So that's it for my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for staff and their comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Harris?
No, sir.
Commissioner Hurst?
Nope.
Commissioner Smith?
No, but I appreciate the updates a lot. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Cindy, very much. Okay, so this is the point at which we provide the opportunity for any member of the public who wishes to speak on an item or concern that is not on the regular agenda. You may have 3 minutes to provide comments. Staff, is there any member of the public who has submitted an email or left a voicemail for the general for the general public comment portion of this meeting?
This is Jay. We have one voicemail that's been received. This will be the 4th time this message has been read into the record. Luckily for me, Ana Gonzalez, the city clerk, has recorded this message because it's sent in an email to every commission or council meeting about 5 minutes before the meeting starts. It's less than 3 minutes, so I'm not going to put the timer screen up.
The usage of speed limits on public roads has increased traffic congestion, decreased roadway safety, and reduced property values and economic output. This policy has made public roads less helpful in transporting people, freight, and other necessities. This inefficiency is due to the lower speeds at which vehicles can transport people and freight and the increase in traffic congestion. In addition, the roadway is less safe because of speed limits, and it increases the likelihood of accidents. Speed limit signage, especially those displaying a lower numerical value, diminishes neighboring properties, aesthetics affecting businesses, individuals, and commercial and residential property values. The speed limits have also reduced the economic output of businesses and individuals, making it less cost competitive to do business or reside in areas with speed limits. Policymakers should have speed limits withdrawn. Please remove speed limits on public roads. Thank you.
And that is all.
Commissioner Secretary, I skipped one item. So let me, do we have any committee reports? Do we have any committee reports? Okay.
Not
Mr.
to my
Meadows?
knowledge. Valerie?
Nope.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now we're going to jump to item number 8 on the minutes. We don't really have any minutes to deal with. We don't have a public hearing to deal with, which would be item number I. So we're going to go all the way to item J. And under J, we have business item number 1, which is the Leonard Homes. Staff, can you go ahead and proceed with your staff report on this?
Megan Meyer, Associate Planner, will give that presentation.
Go ahead, Megan, and thank you. You are muted, Megan. Megan, there you go.
Hi, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, Megan Meyer, Associate Planner. The item before you tonight is a request by Lennar Homes for the site plan and design review proposal for Pioneer Village, Casera Meadows, and Canyon Point residential projects. The Pioneer Village property was created by map number 5162 on November 19th, 2019. And as you can see, it makes up a large portion of the northern part of Spring Lake and is one of the last single-family development areas. The Pioneer Village area is 52 acres site located just north of Farmer Central Road between Harry Lorenzo and Pioneer Avenue within the Spring Lake specific plan area. The Pioneer Village map also includes an R20 multifamily site that will be built at a later time by a developer specializing in multifamily. Surrounding land uses include the Merritt Ranch development to the north, Pioneer High School to the east, and existing residential to the south and to the west. The subdivision map approved for 231 single-family detached homes to be built out in 2 consecutive phases. The subdivision map is delineated into the R5 Canyon Point development with 111 homes in phase 1 and the R8 Casara Meadows development with 120 homes in phase 2. Here you can see by the color variation on the plot plan, it shows the different floor plans, configurations, and home styles that the applicant provided throughout the development. Additionally, the development will provide pedestrian bicycle connectivity to the larger network of green belts within Spring Lake, as shown here in red. Moving now to the home designs. The desired intent of the Spring Lake specific plan is to create a variety of interest along a street and achieve architectural diversity within the residential neighborhood. Through the Pioneer Village developments, you will see 6 design styles that include Spanish, progressive Monterey, territorial ranch, modern farmhouse, Italian, and prairie progressive. The elevations, which I will run through briefly, provide a variety of design styles, including a variety of decorative architectural elements and variations in proposed materials and colors. Canyon Point is within the phase 1 North Village area, with homes ranging in size from 2,282 to 3,425 square feet with 3 to 4 bedrooms. I will be touching on key aspects of the distinct architectural style and other architectural elements that add to the character of the proposed development. For the Spanish style, it includes curved archways, light-colored stuccoed walls, dark accents, arch arcades, extended entry porticos, and corbels at the roofline. The progressive Monterey features hollowed pitched roof gables, large front porches, exposed wooden structure elements, a second-story cantilever elements, and often features narrow and tall window groupings. The ranch style is typical of a low pitched roof with windows trimmed and corbels and shutters. The modern farmhouse design features a simple application of cladding materials such as stucco, board, and batten, along with contemporary colors, shutters, and stacked stone. Italian is simple stucco body to the home with accented corbels at the window, strong accent lines, and low pitched roof with elements from rural Italy. Prairie Progressive has artistic design. It marks horizontal lines, broader lower lying roof lines with uses of traditional elements such as horizontal brick veneer. You will see the applicant has worked to incorporate usable spaces and to develop a mix of architectural materials and roof styles that are diverse yet appropriate to each architectural style. Here you have the single-story model for the Canyon Point development that will make up approximately 20% of the homes. All of the homes come standard with wraparound brick or stone and a variety of window treatments and lighting. Additionally, homes located on corner lots and or side or rear elevations that are visible to the public view will have enhanced treatments provided on sides and rear. Staff wanted to note also that the homes do not have the typical garage door and windows on the doors. Staff has placed a condition of approval on the project that once supply becomes available, that the builder will work to integrate the garage doors with windows into the development. And this is due to ongoing supply chain issues nationally for home builders. The Canyon Point Plan 3312 is designed as a next-gen home, and it makes up approximately 26% of the homes in phase 1, and it's designed with a private suite that can function as a separate living space. And the next-gen home is intended to accommodate the needs of a multi-generational families. Here you can see that the applicant has worked to develop a variety of materials and color palettes with 6 different types of stone and masonry and a variety of different roof treatments. The proposed project will substantially be in conformance with all the development standards outlined in Spring Lake's specific plan. However, the applicant is requesting a slight exception for phase 1 of the project to reduce the front garage and driveway setback from 22 feet to 20 feet, which is actually in line with the R5 and the rest of the setbacks within the city of Woodland for front garage. Additionally, the applicant has also requested to exceed the 50% lot coverage by 5%, but only on 11 homes, which is approximately 10% of phase 1 only. Some of that is also included in the attached rear patio area that you'll find on most of the homes that they provide. Spring Lake specific plan also has a requirement to have one floor plan in the development that has a deep garage setback. However, in the past, staff has had a difficult time, production companies and developers have had a difficult time selling this model, and staff has worked with the developers and allowed some changes to those post-approval. Under Spring Lake's specific plan, it is allowed for some slight exceptions to the design and development standards if the general intent of the overall design is met. Moving now to phase 2, Casera Meadows, South Village portion of the development, with slightly smaller homes ranging in size from 1,587 to 2,536 square feet in size. Looking at Plan 2134 and 2394, plans in Casera Meadows, you can see the variation in roof lines and articulation, as well as stonework and window treatments. Should be noted that homes also come with water and energy efficient features, such as water conserving landscaping for all the front yards. All homes will meet or exceed Title 24 or Green Code energy efficiency standards. And all homes come standard with solar roof mounted panels and tankless water heaters. And homes are also conditioned to facilitate electric vehicle plug-in. Here you can see the applicant has again provided a variety of colors and different roof types to this phase of the development. Here we have an example of some of the landscape details that again include water-wise planting and large shade trees, dedicated front walkways, and a variety of scored driveways. A little over 75% of the homes will have a usable front porch area or courtyard area. Staff does want to note, would like to notate the revision to condition of approval number 13 to notate the minor lot coverage exception the applicant has requested. Staff's review of the design elevation and site plans provided find that the proposal is in substantial compliance with the Spring Lake specific plan design standards and recommends that the Planning Commission approve the project as conditioned. This concludes staff's presentation, and I believe the applicant is here this evening to answer any questions that you have as well.
Thank you, Megan, for your report. So let me start first by allowing the Commissioner the opportunity to ask any questions. So let me start with Commissioner Harris. Do you have any questions or comments on the
I
project?
have no question.
Commissioner Hurst.
Yeah, I do have a question actually for staff, for Megan. What was that thing that you said that they're having a hard time selling the designs in the past? Was that for Plan 1, or could you clarify that?
Sure. So the Spring Lake specific plan actually has a provision where they ask the builders to provide a garage, a design that has the garage set way back on the property, which has been difficult for them to do on standard lots and also hasn't sold well, even when it's been modeled for that people tend to want a larger backyard instead of a longer driveway. And so we have, oftentimes early on, it would be like the last model that was selling for them. And so we kind of have evolved over the course of the life of Spring Lake and realized that it's really not feasible for a lot of developers. And it turns out the public doesn't want it.
Cool, that answers it. Then the other thing that I noticed on the Spanish Monterey Farmhouse Ranch, the ones with the porch in front, the porch is 6'6", and that's including the pillars, support beams for the porch. I've seen those porches that are 6 foot. Basically, they're a little small. I wonder what the reasoning behind that is. 8 foot depth is actually a lot more. It's just a lot more flexible. You can put more stuff on the porch. It's more of a living area out there than the 6 foot, which is pretty limiting. So, I would love your input from you, Megan, but also the applicant should take note of that, and we should answer that from them too. See if they can change that up.
Yeah, I'll let the applicant provide some comment on that, but the pillars aren't as deep as they appear even on the renderings.
Okay.
So they may not take as much space from that as it appears on the renderings. They have met the intent of the Spring Lake design requirements, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, the pillars are not so much of as big of a deal as it is a little bit short, even with a smaller pillar footprint. The 8 foot, I've seen a lot of those 6 foot porches in previous designs around the area, and not a lot of people are using them because they are quite short. But that's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Commissioner Smith, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, I have three. Commissioner Hurst already asked one of mine, which was on the size of the porches. I agree that I was driving around out there the other day looking at the property sites and looking at some of the homes, and the porches all seemed very small in terms of what I'm accustomed to seeing. But again, I also think on a professional level, these homes are way too big, which makes them more costly for affordability's sake, but that's another issue entirely. But if Megan could do me a favor and back up to the overall site plan, there's one minor thing I wanted to note. I'm just not sure because I don't understand this just as much as I should just yet. There we go. I was concerned about fire access and looking at the amount of accessibility in terms of the sites. We're only talking about 2, maybe 3 locations for firefighters to get into these mammoth areas. And they may seem bigger than it is. And I'm sure the fire department signed off on it, but it just concerned me that there seems to be limited fire access or emergency services access. Let's put it that way. But that's just my comment. The other thing I wanted to ask, I don't know if it's should go to the applicant or should be addressed to Ms. Myers, whomever. But I was concerned about the statement regarding the garage doors because of supply issues, not having any windows. In view of that, I was wondering if the same issue applied to the solar panels that were going on the homes. Many of those are manufactured in China and are being shipped overseas to the United States. And I was concerned that those might be delayed in installation because of the supply chain issues. But again, Ms. Meyer or the applicant can address that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
And I'll just address that a little bit, but I'll let the applicant fill that in. We did meet with their, I think, VP of procurement for Lennar, who kind of explained some of the issues that they were having with a lot of different aspects of the development in general. But in terms of the solar panels, I'll let the representative speak to that.
Thank you, Megan. I think we've gone through all the commissioners that wanted to make any comments. So what I'm going to proceed to do now is to ask staff if we have any public comments that have been received in voicemail or email or live call in on this matter.
I have none.
Fine, since we have none, let's take some comments now from the applicant. Is the applicant present?
Yes, this is Pierre Martinez with Lennar. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I jotted down some notes. Certainly, if I missed anything, feel free to ask me again. With respect to the porches, unfortunately, Megan and I have been going back and forth over the past, week or 10 days as the staff report was being put together, and we were making some adjustments to the design review book. And we did update the book. It does have some additional courtyards that were added and an expansion of porch on some of the homes. So we did make some adjustments. And as Megan said, we're substantially consistent with the Spring Lake specific plan. I can't speak off the top of my head to the dimensions of all the porches, but we added those dimensions, we added the courtyards, and we've done that just basically as I know a lot of you commissioners have been on the commission for quite some time. So we've done quite a bit of development in Spring Lake and outside of Spring Lake. And we found sometimes that the argument, if you will, that Megan had addressed with respect to the garage in the back is a difficult and challenging thing for us. It's not to build it. It's what the market likes and what the buyers want. And that is to have usable space in the backyard, more private usable space. And the porches and courtyards can be usable as well as just decorative with pots and plants or perhaps a small table and seat. So we did make some adjustments to address that particular comment. Fire access, that is a function of, the subdivision map that was approved during a previous entitlement. In my experience, emergency response requires a minimum of 2 points of access. So at this point, the subdivision, in essence, we inherited it. We purchased the property entitled. And so before you is the design review. So I understand where you're coming from, but, presumably the city looked to make sure it met all its standards, including emergency response requirements. The garage doors has been an ongoing supply chain issue, among other things, more specifically the windows that are used on garage doors. And so what we've presented is some added decorative hardware. It was probably earlier this year that we reached out to staff on other, not only in Woodland, but in all jurisdictions. We were starting to see a supply chain issue, and we had to make substitutions, but we were able to make substitutions almost like for like, but had to go with a different vendor. And as the year went on, the supply chain issue just became worse and worse. And so we're hearing anywhere from 15 to 50 weeks to get a garage door. And in many jurisdictions, we're actually unable to close on a home just because we can't put a garage door with windows on it. So unfortunately, the condition, we've read the staff report and the conditions, and we're fine with them. If supply chain is no longer an issue, then we'll find a logical space to start incorporating that. But it's really something that's out of our control. And Lennar's, one of the biggest builders in the country, we have a lot of purchasing power, and we get a lot of priority, and we're just feeling the pinch. And we can't find ourselves in a situation where, we order a garage door basically the day we're going to start a house, or we know that we're going to use a certain garage door, and it just doesn't come in. And obviously, if you could put yourself in the hands of a buyer, you are expecting a close on a certain date. You may have sold your home. You're making arrangements to move, and I can't give you a date when that door's coming in. It could be 1 week outside the close. It could be a month. So we've had to sometimes put temporary garage doors until the replacement can come in, or plywood. We've kind of had to go to extreme measures. So it's just something difficult and challenging that we've had to deal with. And so that's kind of the story behind the supply chain issue and the garage doors with windows. And then with respect to will it apply to solar, I've heard nothing about supply chain issues with respect to solar. So at this time, I guess that's all I can share with you at this point, because to be honest with you, there's other parts of building a home that I understand are subject to supply chain issues as well. And it just kind of comes and goes. But at this point, I have not heard any issues with respect to solar. And I believe that was it. Did I miss anything? Or are there any additional questions? Barry Pattison, our architect, is also on the line if you have any specific questions with respect to architecture.
I guess I have a follow-up question, Marco, if that's okay. Would you recognize me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, Megan. So don't worry about the courtyard numbers. I'm just wondering about the porches. Do you have the numbers of what the adjustments are? Did it increase from 6'6"?
My understanding is the courtyards increased in size substantially from where we were at the beginning. The porches were an architectural element. You would have to increase the whole front facade of the building. So I don't believe the porches were increased.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to look through on my computer while I'm on my laptop, so I apologize. But where a porch column could be projected out without really substantially changing the roof line over that porch segment, we pushed it out. That was about a foot, maybe we pushed it out. There was one porch, I believe, that was pretty deep. It wasn't quite, I think, the 6 feet wide, but it was like 12 feet deep or something like that. And then we have another porch that's quite substantial. It's about just under 7 feet deep and 24 feet across. And then we added on the courtyards, as I mentioned. So,
But it's still depth-wise, it's still 6'6". Just under 7 feet is the 6'6" that you're referencing.
let me see. I don't know which specific plan you're.
I was taking a look at all. It looks like, from what I could tell, all of at least the ranch, farmhouse, I believe. Look at, plan 2. From what I can tell, plan 2, a farmhouse is 6'6".
Is it plan 2? What's the parenthetical square footage there next to it? Because maybe we have, is it the 3104?
3104. Mm-hmm.
So that one is 6 feet, 10 inches by 24 feet, 3 inches.
6'10".
So kind of the depth from the face of the post, if you will, to the face of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see it's, more than half of the width of the home.
Yeah, it's quite long. I guess the length is not my issue. It is the depth. I mean, when we're talking about placing, if we're talking about like design from a furniture concept, it's hard to put like chairs and be able to walk around them. It is quite shallow. So that's where I think if we can push it out a bit more, and you're saying there is one that has a 10 foot deep.
It's more of a longer, narrower porch. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, is it 6 by 8 what the Spring Lake is trying to achieve?
Sorry, I was muted, but yes, that's the standard.
8 foot long, 6 foot deep.
It just says 6 by 8.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Do you have any more questions, Valerie?
No. I mean, there still seems to be a bit of a question here, but I think we're okay.
Okay. Commissioner Harris, do you have any other questions?
No, I do not.
Commissioner Smith?
Sorry about that. No, I have no further questions to this time.
Okay, if there are no further questions or comments, what I'm going to ask any other members, I'll make it clear, the chair will entertain a motion now for approval of this project. Do I have a motion?
Well, I'd like to entertain a potential motion to amend this for 8-foot porches on those homes for the ranch, farmhouse, Monterey, and Spanish, if there's support on that.
Okay, let me answer something here. I'm not too sure how we motion to set a new condition or redesign. Becomes complicated.
If I may interject, I would suggest if a condition will be provided that it be somewhat conditional, because they'll have to look at setbacks, because we've already have some plans that are tight on the setbacks. So maybe it could be written to the effect of, to the extent possible, or the applicant shall work with staff to extend the porch depth to the amount possible.
Sure. I guess I could say it would be a motion to amend. Would that be the proposal?
You have to make a motion to accept the project with a condition as stated by Cindy.
Okay. That would be my recommendation.
So
I
is that
guess.
the motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion with, oh, geez, the wording on this. A motion with a condition that staff work with the applicant as much as possible to extend the porch depth on the Spanish Monterey farmhouse and ranch designs.
Okay, the chair was not asking for a motion for a specific part of the design. The chair is asking for a motion of approval of the project. That's what we need to do.
And then the comes?
You can add that condition be added to the project. approval.
Fantastic. Then I make a motion to approve.
With the condition that staff work with the designers on the potential changes to the porch.
With
That-
that staff work with the applicant on the potential changes to the porch.
Okay, does that sound okay, Cindy? Megan? Is that clear? Okay,
Yes, we'll amend the conditions and then have that in clarify it that we're talking about the depth of the.
yes. Okay, fine. Do I have a
I
second?
have a
motion?
question, Chair.
On the motion?
Yes,
Okay.
I'd like a clarification. What,
Go ahead.
it stated as potential. This is not going to, since the standard has been made, this is not, it's up to the two sides to come together with something or not, but the project will continue. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Primarily the project has to meet the standards set up, for the specific area plan. That's the
Which
primary.
I understand it does.
Yeah, and it does. So there's no way that we could stop the project, really. We can ask this for modification, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Commissioners, can I make your life easier? This is Pierre with Lennar. I think if it's Plan 2 that you're talking about, Commissioner Hurst, those 4 architectural styles that you identified, if you want to make the depth 8 feet, it's a 2-story home. We can accommodate it on the lots without a lot fit issue. So we would be agreeable to a condition stating that the Plan 2 3104 be conditioned to have an 8-foot deep porch.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now you want to modify the motion to accept the proposed project with, as stated by Mr. Martinez, condition. Do we have all those notes, Cindy? On the motion?
Yes, we do.
And I've
Okay.
documented them as well.
Okay, fine. So we're all clear on the motion. Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, fine.
Jim Smith.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the project with a condition included regarding the porches on the Plan 2. Any more discussions on the motion? Having none, then let's take a roll call for the vote. Commissioner Harris. You're muted. Commissioner Harris?
Very temperamental mute. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Hurst?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
I'm going to go along with you guys. Aye. Okay, so we have a motion that has been approved unanimously by those present on the commission today. Okay, staff, do you have any wrap-up comments?
I do not. Do you, Megan?
No, I'm okay.
Well, thank you very much, staff, and thank you, Mr. Martinez, for your comments and your assistance on the motion. And I think that I'll either entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Okay, so Commissioner Hurst has made a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Jim Smith.
Okay, Commissioner Smith has seconded the motion to adjourn. So let's take a vote on the motion. Commissioner Harris,
Aye.
Commissioner Hurst,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Well, if I vote no, I'll lose. So, yeah. Okay. It's okay. Thank you very much. It was a good meeting.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye all.
Bye.